Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday evening. And I want to say hello to everybody. Hello Fubar, hello Della. I see Dark Watch, Logan Sandman, Cody, Austin Murphy. Let's see, I see Roseanne Mossman, 65CJ5, Uncle Artie's Bar and Grill of Stupidity, Della Perry, Archangel. Let's see here, I see Nakodi and Josh Kender Fortnite. Um, Let's see. That's all I see at the moment, except for I see a message back here from Corey Steele saying he won't be here. There's Daisy that just popped in. Hello, Daisy. Again, I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday evening. I want to bring somebody up to the panel. You guys know her. You love her. Welcome, Lisa, to the stream. How are you doing tonight, Lisa?
I'm doing good tonight. A little frazzled, but
I was going to say just good, not great, stupendous, or wonderful. Just good.
tonight, yes, just good.
Well,
I
welcome.
just got back home. I had to take my mom to the emergency room. They've admitted her to the hospital, and we're waiting to hear when she's having surgery.
All right, you guys heard that. That means that if you pray, do that. Any warm wishes and well feelings you can send that way, I'm sure would be greatly appreciated by Lisa and her mom. So you guys need to put that together out there. And I'm sorry to hear that you've had such a rough day today. However, welcome to the broadcast. I appreciate you being here. It's good to see you.
Well, thank you.
I started out about, I reckon it's about a month ago now, on a Friday night. I had went around town asking almost everybody I saw. And then when I started the stream, the question was, what is freedom? So I guess now that I have you here in person, I will ask you, Lisa, what is freedom?
Oh, dear. Well, it would be the ability to move around and do as you please.
Within limitations, I would assume, because there are some things you might please to do that the rest of us would think you shouldn't do.
Exactly.
I tell you what, I have a presentation prepared, and I'll play that here in a bit. And I think that I have been able to explain what freedom is. So we'll worry about that here in a minute. Let me welcome one other person tonight to the panel, and that is Uncle Artie. Hello, Uncle Artie. How you doing tonight? Well, I guess Uncle Artie's in. There he is. I'm not hearing any audio, Uncle Artie.
He did that the other night, too.
Usually I always hear his song, but I didn't hear anything that time. I don't hear him at all. That's unusual. Usually Artie's easy to hear. So what I've done is I put together kind of a presentation. My some people have called it my presidential speech, but it is all talking about freedom and what it is and a bit of what it isn't. As I said, we'll get into that here in a minute, but I did want your opinion, and I know it's a very hard question to answer because most people, out of all the people that I have asked, I got a plethora of answers, but most of them all boiled down to the same idea. We can do whatever we want, right? You know, and they always kind of ask the question rather than making the statement, because I think as they're saying it, I realize that they know that's not exactly what it means. You can do whatever you want, but it would seem so, you know, when you discuss freedom. So hello to Dirty Old Man and Jason Solemn, Dark Watch and Green Lord and Queen Bee. I see y'all out there. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have we managed to get your voice in here yet, Uncle Artie? I guess not. At least I don't hear anything. I assume no one else does, do they? Maybe it's just me.
That would be a no.
All right. Well, I tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to go ahead and play my my freedom presentation for you all, and see what you think. So here we go, guys. We'll be right back in just a moment. I want to talk to you all about a concept that is cherished by all, yet often misunderstood: freedom. In a world where we often take this precious gift for granted, it is important to remind ourselves of what freedom truly is and why it is so essential to our lives. Freedom is not merely the absence of physical constraints or the ability to do whatever we please. It is a multifaceted concept that encompasses a range of fundamental rights and responsibilities. True freedom
lies in the delicate balance between personal autonomy and collective harmony. First and foremost, freedom means the right to express ourselves openly and without fear. It is the liberty to speak our minds, to share our ideas and beliefs, even and especially if they are controversial or unpopular. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of a democratic society, enabling the exchange of diverse perspectives and fostering intellectual growth. However, this freedom also demands responsibility, to use our words wisely and respecting the dignity and the rights of others. Freedom also includes the right to assemble peacefully, to come together and form communities based on shared interests, beliefs, or goals. It is the power to gather with like-minded individuals to advocate for change, to peacefully protest against injustice, to build strong, cohesive societies. Yet this freedom comes with the responsibility to respect the rights and perspectives of those who may differ from us, fostering dialogue and understanding instead of division. Moreover, freedom entails the right to choose our own path in life, to pursue our dreams and aspirations. It means having access to education, employment, and opportunities that allow us to reach our full potential. However, with this freedom comes the obligation to respect the rights of others to do the same. We must recognize that freedom is not a zero-sum game. It thrives in an inclusive society where everyone's rights are valued and protected. Freedom is also intrinsically tied to equality. It means that no matter our race, religion, gender, or social status, we are all entitled to the same rights and opportunities. True freedom cannot exist in a society where some are systematically oppressed or discriminated against. Embracing freedom requires us to challenge and dismantle barriers that hinder progress and the well-being of any group. Lastly, freedom encompasses the responsibility to uphold the rule of law. It means living in a society where justice is blind, where rights of the individual are protected, and where institutions are accountable. True freedom flourishes in an environment of trust and fairness where everyone is equal before the law. In conclusion, freedom is not a self-serving concept. It goes beyond personal desires and encompasses the well-being of all individuals. It is a delicate balance of rights and responsibilities that requires active engagement and vigilance from each of us. True freedom is not guaranteed. It must be nurtured and protected and defended by an informed and conscientious society. Let us cherish the true essence of freedom, fostering an inclusive society where diverse voices are celebrated, where justice prevails, and where every individual has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment. Together, let us strive for a world where freedom thrives and where its true meaning is understood by all.
So what do you think of that, Lisa?
Well, Terry, I think that was very good. Now, did you come up with that on the fly, or have you been working on that?
I have worked on that for a long time. That is not something I could just sit down and come out with, no.
Because you asked me, and I'm just like, duh. It's about.
Well,
but yours was really, very nice.
it took me a very long time, much of the entire year that I've been doing this, to sit down and come up with what I believe freedom truly is and a little bit of what I believe it isn't. It's very hard to put those, and then to take those words and make them sound as eloquent and poetic as that definitely takes a bit of time to work on. So no, it was definitely not on the fly. I wish I could do that, but no, because I had to sit down and think for a long time, about what freedom is and what it isn't, before I could answer the question myself. Yeah. So that's why I like to spring it on people, because I know it's kind of a trap question that really doesn't have an on-the-fly answer, but it forces people to think, Let's try this again. Uncle Artie's backstage again. Let's bring him back up here, and maybe we can hear him this time. Hello, Uncle Artie.
Hear me now?
I can definitely hear you now.
Oh, hey, Lisa. Hey, baby, what you doing?
How are you, Uncle Artie?
I'm ornery and hornery. What more could you ask?
Did you get to hear the presentation on freedom, sir?
No, I had to reboot my laptop.
Oh, for crying out loud. I was really wanting your opinion on that. I'll tell you what,
Freedom.
I'm going to play it again, just so that you can hear it, and anybody that just came in, I would like for everyone to have a chance to listen to it so they can decide what they think. Here we go. Hold on just a second.
I want to
Yeah.
talk to you all about a concept that is cherished by all, yet often misunderstood: freedom. In a world where we often take this precious gift for granted, it is important to remind ourselves of what freedom truly is and why it is so essential to our lives. Freedom is not merely the absence of physical constraints or the ability to do whatever we please. It is a multifaceted concept that encompasses a range of fundamental rights and responsibilities. True freedom lies in the delicate balance between personal autonomy and collective harmony. First and foremost, freedom means the right to express ourselves openly and without fear. It is the liberty to speak our minds, to share our ideas and beliefs, even and especially if they are controversial or unpopular. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of a democratic society, enabling the exchange of diverse perspectives and fostering intellectual growth. However, this freedom also demands responsibility, to use our words wisely and respecting the dignity and the rights of others. Freedom also includes the right to assemble peacefully, to come together and form communities based on shared interests, beliefs, or goals. It is the power to gather with like-minded individuals to advocate for change, to peacefully protest against injustice, to build strong, cohesive societies. Yet this freedom comes with the responsibility to respect the rights and perspectives of those who may differ from us, fostering dialogue and understanding instead of division. Moreover, freedom entails the right to choose our own path in life, to pursue our dreams and aspirations. It means having access to education, employment, and opportunities that allow us to reach our full potential. However, with this freedom comes the obligation to respect the rights of others to do the same. We must recognize that freedom is not a zero-sum game. It thrives in an inclusive society where everyone's rights are valued and protected. Freedom is also intrinsically tied to equality. It means that no matter our race, religion, gender, or social status, we are all entitled to the same rights and opportunities. True freedom cannot exist in a society where some are systematically oppressed or discriminated against. Embracing freedom requires us to challenge and dismantle barriers that hinder progress and the well-being of any group. Lastly, freedom encompasses the responsibility to uphold the rule of law. It means living in a society where justice is blind, where rights of the individual are protected, and where institutions are accountable. True freedom flourishes in an environment of trust and fairness where everyone is equal before the law. In conclusion, freedom is not a self-serving concept. It goes beyond personal desires and encompasses the well-being of all individuals. It is a delicate balance of rights and responsibilities that requires active engagement and vigilance from each of us. True freedom is not guaranteed. It must be nurtured and protected and defended by an informed and conscientious society. Let us cherish the true essence of freedom, fostering an inclusive society where diverse voices are celebrated, where justice prevails, and where every individual has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment. Together, let us strive for a world where freedom thrives and where its true meaning is understood by all.
So what do you think about that, Uncle Artie? Yep, I believe I've lost him again. Are you still there, Lisa?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, maybe he tuned it out. Maybe my boring, droning voice just sent him right out of there. Let me say hello to Jason Solomon. Hello, Amy, and both of her daughters. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, and I see Lick the Boot out there. I hope everybody's having a good night. And there's Walter. Hello, Walter. This is the best that I could do to define within my small hillbilly mind of what freedom is and what freedom isn't. There are so many people in this country who want to live a free life, but I think they completely misunderstand what freedom actually is. So I hope that helps to foster the education out there a little bit as to what freedom truly is and what true freedom really means. It's not the freedom to do whatever the hell you want. It is, but it's not. So I guess since I can't hear Uncle Hardy anymore, and I don't know what happened, I'll go back to you, Lisa. Is there anything there that you disagree with, or does that seem pretty agreeable?
I'm on board with all of that. We definitely have, as a society, have agreed that we've got to have rules and boundaries. Otherwise, we just have chaos.
I
And
agree.
and
Go right
and
ahead.
with chaos is going to be infringing on other people's freedoms.
Right. Well, you're free to do whatever you want for that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness until you step on someone else's ability to do that. You know what I mean? That's when it becomes a problem. Society
Right.
Red says, how is screaming at some city town clerk protecting our First Amendment rights? It is not. It is not protecting your First Amendment rights at all. As a matter of fact, there is an entire group of people out there who claim that they are out there protecting your rights, and what I see is they are actually endangering them. They're not protecting them at all, and the reason is because they're not very responsible. They've not understood that delicate balance between freedom and responsibility. So, Society Red says, let's see. What you do is not auditing. Real auditors are very skilled, highly educated, and are subject matter experts. Whatever you say. I think I'm a pretty damn good expert on freedom. That's what I believe. I think I just proved that just a few minutes ago.
Was that
So
sarcasm?
it might have been. I don't know. It didn't sit too well, but that's all right. Doesn't really matter. And there's Blanche. Hello, Blanche. I see you out there. ZXL Master. Hello, hello. But I see this group of people out there who seem more enemies to the Constitution that they swear they're out there trying to protect for you, the regular people. You know, unfortunately, they're not protecting it. What they're doing is they're causing law enforcement and municipalities to try to find a way to curb your rights even more, because you have a bunch of man children out there, kind of like Jose de Castro, you know, going out there and running amok and being completely irresponsible and if you don't mind my saying so, dumb as shit. So, what do you think about that, Lisa?
I'm sorry, I just went blank there. I went to check on my thermostat.
I was just talking about those guys
Oh,
there with a camera that call themselves auditors. What they're doing is actually
oh,
endangering our rights rather than protecting them. I wonder what your opinion was.
right. Because when they're going out and they're causing so much trouble, then lawmakers are going to make more laws to protect people against that behavior, and it will just make it more restrictive for everybody.
Right. Absolutely. And we've actually seen some of that start to happen in the last little while since these quote unquote auditors, you know, have been out there doing their thing. I found out really quick that it's not really the camera that bothers them. It's the asshole behind it. It's not the camera at all. And I only know that because, you know, my camera doesn't create a problem. And since I don't, there generally isn't a problem. I would like to think that I've managed to prove that in a year now. You guys have to remember, though, that freedom is by no means free. Each of us have to pay every day. You know, sometimes you have to sacrifice what you might think is your freedom in order not to step on someone else's. There's where that education and responsibility, I think, come into play. You know, if only we could have an educated and responsible society. We used to, for the most part, but I've seen that kind of fade over my lifetime. And now even people my age seem like they don't really understand what responsibility is anymore. Do you think I'm mistaken in that, Lisa?
No, not at all.
Does it seem like people that maybe even your age, in your age bracket, you've noticed seem less responsible now than they used to?
Now, Terry, what are you bringing up age for?
Well, cause age is everything. You know, the children depend on us to show them how to live. And if we don't do it, look at what's coming up. And I'm scared shitless to think that some of these children are going to be leading this country someday and this world. It scares me to death. It
Now,
really
see,
does.
I'm not. That does not scare me at all, because I see some wonderful young adults. I see some really good young children. Are there bad ones? Yes. There's good and bad in adults. You're going to have good and bad in every age.
Right. Absolutely. I tell you
So,
what, though, I think the problem is the lack of morals and responsibility that the youth is being pushed on them. You know, it's not something that maybe you or I desire for them to learn, but it seems as if society and media seem to be pushing that type of thing. Does it not seem that way to you? It sure does from my perspective.
I think that the parents are responsible for that.
Well, the parents are absolutely responsible, but since parents are usually the ones that are completely irresponsible with their children, they allow school and media to teach them rather than trying to teach them themselves. Now, I'm not broad brushing every single parent out there. So if you think you're a good parent, don't start screaming at me and shit. I don't really care. It's not about that. I'm just talking about what seems to be the majority, not, the minority is always the ones doing the right thing for the right reasons, you know.
Mm.
And you were talking about how there are good kids coming up. I agree. I'm just afraid they're not going to be the ones in leadership positions. They usually aren't. You know,
And
I don't.
Terry, I think in our area especially, you know, I think the youth around here, generally speaking, are kind of protected from a lot of that stuff.
Well, they are, and I think that's because we have formed a protective barrier. We kind of keep that
Yeah,
stuff out of our own lives.
yeah.
I wish that held true across our entire culture.
I mean, you've got at our schools around here, they still have prayer.
Do they? I thought
Yeah.
they were supposed to remove that.
Have you ever been to a football game?
Well, actually, no. I don't really go to football
Yeah.
games. I'll be honest. Do they still pray?
I probably shouldn't even say this, huh?
Well, it's not a problem for me, and that's
Yeah.
not
But
that
yeah, they
does not
do.
fall under separation of church and state. It's not that the state can't use church; it's that the state can't dictate what church or worship is. That's what that actually
Well,
means.
um, there's not adults who pray. It's the students.
Well, good. Um, I'm not sure that everyone out there would agree that that means that they're moral children because they pray. I know a few adults who pray, but they're not very moral people. So, you
Yeah.
know, but I do agree that you need to have some type of spirituality in your life. I won't purport to tell you what that should be. That's under the First Amendment. It's your freedom of religion. But I would suggest that you do investigate such things and make your own decisions.
Well, I only brought that up just to point out that our area is. I think we're different,
Well,
and I'm
we've
sure.
always been like 30 years behind the rest of the world
Yeah,
too, you know.
and I'm sure we're not the only area that's like this.
Well, I
And
keep saying that I believe we're the majority. I really do. I believe people that think and act and do as we do, I believe we are the majority. I think the minority is lying to us every day to make us think we're not. That's what I think.
mhm. I mean, I know in our area, if when my kids were young, if somebody saw them even driving too fast, I knew about it.
Right. Well,
You know,
I even had
they
a neighbor. I was in a fist fight with a kid out here in the road one time when I was like, I don't know, I was like 13 or 14 years old. And one of the neighbors that lived down the road, a very, very big guy. And when I say big, I mean like he makes Captain Chad look small. He's huge. He come up the road, seen us fighting, stopped his car, got out, jerked me up by one arm, swatted me on the ass, and told me to get in the house and tell mom why he had to do that. And he jerked the other boy up and swatted him. He said, "Now you go home and tell your dad too." And
yeah,
that's just how it used to be.
yeah. But there's going to be um parents who want to be parents and to give their kids the skills and the education they need to succeed in life and to be good people. And then there's going to be those who want to just be the fun parent and be their best friend and
Well,
this and that.
you can't be a parent if you're too busy trying to be a friend to your child. Now, I'm not a
Right.
parent, so before all the parents say, "Well, you don't have kids, you don't know nothing," let me explain something. I've been able to sit back all these years and watch all the screw ups y'all have done. So it's not that I'm talking from a place where I have actually accomplished it. I just watch others' mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I have learned beyond all others is your children cannot be your friends until they've grown up and turned into adults. That's when they can be your friends. But until that moment gets here, you absolutely must be the bad guy and be the parent when necessary, period. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not, they'll never be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to respect you if you don't teach them what that is and what it means?
Right.
Sovereign
And
said,
some
I'm sorry, go ahead, Lisa.
and something else, we have to give our kids coping skills so that when things don't go their way or someone disagrees with them or any of that, that they don't fly off the handle and
Right.
go start shooting up school.
Well, see, that's crazy. All of a sudden this year we've had like what, 19, 20 school shootings or more,
Um,
and that many years ago we didn't. I'll just
right.
leave it at that. I'm not going to get
When
into the
we were
causes, but
kids,
something's happening different today for sure.
right. When we were kids, no, we didn't have that.
Kind of makes you wonder why people were doing it today. What
I think a
changed?
lot of it is we're not giving kids these coping skills.
Well, we definitely aren't. They're seeking it from doctors, psychologists, and pills, it seems.
Yeah.
We've not taught them how to cope with their fifis. So when they get their fifis hurt, it like ruins their whole week and sometimes their whole lives.
Yeah.
Like Sovereign says, you have the freedom of speech unless some snowflake doesn't like it. That is gold. Let's amend the Constitution and protect the fifis. And I kind of agree with that in a way. It seems to be the way society looks at it. You can say anything you want unless it hurts my feelings, and then that's supposed to be illegal. The best thing that I can tell you
What
all
would be
out
an
there is
example of that?
okay. What an example of hurting someone's feelings?
No, of it being illegal or amend
Well,
the Constitution.
it hasn't been done, but
Oh, okay.
there are a specific group of people out there that think that it should be, is what I mean. And I'm assuming that's what he is saying.
Oh.
There are a lot of people who they function every day on their feelings. They don't really know anything in life. They don't really think at all about anything except how they feel at this moment. All they do is go through their lives and react to emotional stimulus every day. They're not really conscientious or, present in the moment hardly at all in their lives. That's what I see. What do you think?
I don't know
Now,
that I see that much.
again, I'm not talking about everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about what seems to be the majority of people.
I would say there's definitely people like that. Maybe I'm just not associating with them too much. I don't
Well,
know.
you can't talk about the people here like you can the rest of the world. Again, we're kind of a
Right.
small knit group here in this tri-state area where we
Yeah.
still hold our morals higher than anything else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it seems that is slipping across the country.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope this helps to explain, or hope that helped to explain a little bit of what freedom truly is, and what I mean when I actually say it. I'm not like the rest of these people. I think everybody knows that. I don't believe that freedom is necessarily just saying whatever you want to whoever you like. I believe that you should always temper that with responsibility and sometimes with a little empathy and maybe even a little compassion when necessary. So
Terry, what's Sovereign talking about there?
where? Let me find
Lisa
these.
just said
That they are going to keep it up until they pass a law restricting it. That was
What's
the
he talking
statement.
about?
That was the statement you had made earlier. We were talking about the auditors, how they go out acting crazy, and that law enforcement and municipalities are trying and have started to pass laws to hinder those
Okay.
rights because of the irresponsible people. So while you did say that,
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
well,
That was a way back. I thought he was talking about the Constitution. I thought he was talking about that statement. And I was like, when did I say that? Okay. Yes.
Hello, by the way, development of a void. He says, freedom to me is the ability to control your emotions. You know what? I wish that most people could. It seems that there are a lot of people who are unable. That seems to be, especially here on YouTube. You start going from channel to channel to channel, and you'll see little spats here and there between channels and between people in the chats. And all it is somebody said something, somebody else got their feelings hurt, and it turned into a whole entire thing that, in my opinion, didn't really need to be. In my opinion, adults handle things a little bit different than teenagers in grade school or middle school. We don't get our feelings hurt and then that person's now our enemy forever. That's just silly stuff. I would think that you should be able to have your feelings hurt and still be okay with it. But that's just me. Maybe it's because I don't have any feelings. Maybe that's it.
That depends, Terry. I'd say that depends.
Darkwatch says, Ironton Auditor, does that tolerance thing apply to those using high beams coming at you? Absolutely not. That should not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. I think I've ranted enough about those high beams. I honestly have a sensitivity to light. My eyes, that's why you'll see me wearing sunglasses a lot during the day. I can't really stand bright light. I'm like a vampire. I'll grab my cape and throw it over my head and shy away, but those bright lights at night, man, when I'm driving around, they hit me in the eyes. Now all I see are spots.
Are you
all
night
I can see are
blind?
headlights. No, I can see fine at night until you hit me in the eyes with some bright lights, and then it probably takes another 2 or 3 minutes for those dots that you see after you see bright lights to disappear, so I can see clearly again. But
Yeah,
no,
see,
I'm not
I'm
night
night
blind at
blind.
all.
I am, and lights at night kill me.
Well, I am sorry to hear that. I have an aunt like that. She's unable to drive at night because of it, she says. And let me quickly say hello to Vengeance is Mine and Raymond Brady and Welsh News Network. If I've missed anybody else, I'm sorry. I'll try to call you out when I see you. Hello to everybody out there. Again, I hope you're all having a good Tuesday night. There's good old boy. How you doing tonight, good old boy? So back to the top. Well, I'm not even sure what the topic is. We started talking about freedom. We've talked a little bit about parenting. We've talked about lack of responsibility and getting our fifis hurt. I guess I'm not sure where we're going, from here. I guess all of this is included and under the umbrella of freedom. It is that particular person's freedom, I suppose, to say whatever the hell they want. It is your decision to allow. Let me put it this way. You remember when you were kids and in school you heard a saying that would say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me? I want to update that just a bit for anyone out there who doesn't understand. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words, unless I am too mentally weak to avoid it, can never hurt me.
I'll disagree.
I'm sure that you will, but I'll argue. Go ahead.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words, if you mean nothing to me, will never hurt me.
Well, that is absolutely true, but let me put it this way. If someone says something that hurts your feelings, someone you care about, let's say, because obviously if you're walking by and a stranger says some shit to you, you don't care anyway. You don't value their opinion, so it doesn't matter, right? You're not hurt. I guess that kind of pain could probably only come from someone you care about their opinion.
Right.
Technically, when you're upset, whether you're mad, depressed, or any other emotion, you have the absolute autonomy and freedom to control your own emotion and decide at that very moment, no, I'm not going to be hurt about that. I'm going to stop being angry right now and decide that that's not worth my time and energy to spend on it. Now, I realize that it's a little easier said than done, but that really is all it takes. There's that control of emotions that I think Development of a Void was trying to talk about. Would you disagree with that?
Yeah, if you cut yourself off from family who's hurting you, I guess you can.
No, I did not say
that
to
would
cut
be
yourself off. I did not say to excommunicate them. What I said was you have the power within yourself to hear whatever they say and still not allow it to bother you that way. The only reason it hurts.
If it's something that is on and on and on and on. You know, for example, let's say you have a mentally abusive husband who is day in, day out. Yeah, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt until you cut yourself off from them.
Well, that is a possibility. But I'm talking about something much simpler. If you're in an abusive relationship, the best thing I can tell you is if you can't live there, get the hell out. And
Yeah.
I don't care which side you're on, whether you're the man or the woman, right? If it's too much for you to handle, get the hell out. That's my best advice there. Do not ever put yourself in a situation where you are continually hurt, whether it's physically or mentally is irrelevant. That is just silliness and shouldn't be done by anybody. Don't put yourself in that situation. And if you find yourself in that situation, please, dear God, reach out to people. There are people around. There are people who are willing to help, and get out of that situation. But I'm just talking about the idle words of people as we speak to each other. The things that we say, because I know that I have a habit of putting things so blunt and plain sometimes that I hurt people's feelings. It wasn't my intention. That was not my intention at all. However, sometimes words hurt. Sometimes the truth hurts, I guess, maybe. And, I will apologize for hurting feelings because that was not my desire nor what I wanted to do. However, sometimes that will happen. Sometimes what I need to say and I think that you need to hear may hurt you, but I think that people will not experience true change unless there's some kind of offense taken, right? Because like if you're too nice, and you're like, yeah, you could do this, it's really not all that important. Well, if it's really not all that important, they go back to being an asshole to you, right? But as soon as you make it a big deal, right? As soon as they get as soon as they get offended by what you said, it's the only time they're going to stop and think about what they just said or did to you. Does that make sense? I hope I put that correctly. It's hard to verbalize the way I want. Did it make any sense at all, or am I just blabbering? Did I lose you? Well, I must have lost you. Either that or you all lost me. I don't know. Can you hear me, or can I not hear anybody else? What's going on? Up there she goes. I guess she's out here. I guess I'm here by myself now, guys. So anyway, my point in trying to say that was, if you know someone who is just constantly hurting those around them, they're not going to care much until someone says something or does something that actually hurts the child within them, right? Does that make sense? Oh, there she is. She's managed to make it back. Hello again. Can I hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. It's almost as good as Verizon back in the day. Talk about it.
No, my screen turned black and somehow I lost everything. I just had to close it out and then come back.
Did you hear what I was saying?
I did.
Did it make any sense, or am I just like blabbering against the wall? I hope I'm speaking correctly because it's really hard to verbalize what I'm trying to say.
It did. It made sense, yes.
If you know someone that needs to change something about themselves, it's going to be really hard to talk them into it nicely, is what I'm trying to say. There's really no polite way to look at someone and say, look, you're being an asshole and you need to quit. You know what I mean? There's really no polite way to do that. So, chances are you're going to hurt some feelings, you're going to offend some people, but I think that that's where true thought and real change come from. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it has to come. You have to want to change before you can get change.
Right. And you have to agree within yourself that is needed.
Yeah.
So if everybody around you is happily seems to be supporting you and going along with whatever you say, even though for the moment they seemed hurt, but then later they don't care, chances are you won't change much.
Yeah. And I'll say that's why a lot of people maybe go through the rehabs and then they go right back to it because they don't feel they need to change. But one day they may.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I have done a lot of changing in the last 15 or 20 years. Before
Hopefully
that, I
we
was
all
pretty
have.
hard-headed. I'm sorry?
I said, hopefully we all have.
Well, I don't purport to know what everybody else has done, but I can tell you that I was a very stubborn, pig-headed type of guy. And I really thought I had a good beat on the world. I truly did. And then I entered the world. And when I did, it steamrolled me. Because and I could never figure out why, and it took most of my life for me to understand that the problem, the common denominator in my shitty life was me. It really took a long time for me to be able to understand that, and I think a lot of people have that problem. They don't realize that all of the failed stuff in their life, they are the common denominator.
Right.
I mean, who wants to look at themselves in the mirror and realize that about themselves? Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody does. But the only way you're ever going to be more is when you take an honest account of yourself, decide who you really are, not look in the mirror and see the same mask that you try to project to everyone else, because we all do it. Sometimes we have a mask of strength when we're weak. Sometimes we have a mask of compassion when we really don't. But to take those masks off and to look at ourselves honestly, to take an honest account, and hold ourselves accountable to who we truly are, that is a difficult task. And sometimes it's really hard to be honest with yourself. Or at least I found it difficult. I didn't like what I was telling me. Let me put it that way. It wasn't very fun. Yep. Dark Watch said, "IA, you stubborn and pig-headed. How could anyone accuse you of that?" I'm not sure, man. I don't know where those kinds of ideas come from. But, there are some crazy people in the world.
You're just misunderstood, right?
Well, I must be one of the most misunderstood people ever then, because I will admit I am very stubborn and I do have a very thick head. That's why I make my comments, but then at the end of it, I always try to leave an out and explain that I agree that I could be wrong about certain things that I have said or certain beliefs that I hold. And the only reason that I'm willing to say that is because I found so many things in my life that I was wrong about. As I grew older, and wisdom have you ever noticed wisdom comes right after you needed it? So, as it started sitting in life.
You don't have to be wrong about something to be stubborn.
Well, true. Well, I'm definitely stubborn about the things I'm right about. That is a fact. Obviously, I can't have my mind changed about something that is true and correct. But the thing about an opinion is a mental estimate of what seems true based on the knowledge that you have. However, it can never be proven. And the only reason that an opinion can never be proven is because if it is proven to be true, it is no longer an opinion and becomes a fact.
Right.
Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So new knowledge or new ideas or a new perspective will change opinion. However, none of that can change the truth. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Mr. Lisa, he'll argue with me from time to time. And I will say, "Why do you bother arguing with me?" And you know what his answer is?
What's that?
"One day I'm going to be right."
Well, the other day Della looked at me and she said, "You're not even paying any attention to anything I'm saying, are you?" And I looked back at her thinking within myself, that's the dumbest way I've ever heard to start a conversation. So, we as men, we just plead stupid. It's
Poor
just easier
Della.
for us. Just easier for, she does not have an easy life, I promise you. It is very, very rough to live in the same home as I do. I'd almost guarantee it. I'm probably among the most pig-headed and the most stubborn men out there, I would say. So I'm pretty sure y'all already know that about me. But there you go.
Mr. Lisa, he can be very stubborn too, and I just laugh at him. It's just
Well, knowing you, the bit that I do, you seem like a very stubborn person yourself, and because of that, I would assume that it's a straight survival tactic for him to be able to survive in the household. Just at a guess. Just taking a guess.
Now he's stubborn too.
Oh well, that's what I mean. But I'm just going to defend him.
It's not a life skill or nothing. He's stubborn too.
Well, by Joe, don't we all have the ability to be stubborn? I think we all start out that way. Stubbornness doesn't go away until we see a need for change, or we have our perspective change to where our opinion changes.
But stubbornness, I don't see that as always bad either.
It's not. It's not. Stubbornness, that the old adage, try again, you know, or if at first you don't succeed, try again, you know, all those
Yeah.
things. That shows a certain amount of tenacity and stubbornness. You have to be stubborn to keep failing, knowing that you're going to succeed if you keep trying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see. I mean, stubbornness, of course, can be bad, but it can also be good.
Right? Let me say hello real quick to Bloody Panda. And who else did I see? I thought I seen another name out there that I missed. Tina Slay. Hello, Tina Slay. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep up with y'all out there, but me and
Hi,
Lisa are having a
Tina.
great time up here. So I don't know. I see him mentioning the Bible. I'm not sure what's going on out there. Let me be the one to tell you guys that although there is truth in the Bible, I in no way, and guys, you have to know I'm actually a card-carrying ordained pastor. That is a fact. That doesn't make me any better than anyone else, and I'm not claiming that it does. My point is, know that I have biblical knowledge. That's how I got to that point. But you must understand that although it contains truth, it is not the complete truth. Every single truth that could ever be known is not written in there. And because of that, you need to be willing to look outside of that book to find other truths in order to find a complete picture. I hope that makes sense. Not too many people jumping on me too bad. What do you think about that statement, Lisa?
I know. I'm like laughing at Sovereign here, acting like he's not stubborn.
Well, I'm not sure he ever said he wasn't stubborn. I'm sure he doesn't say, well, I don't know. We could ask Naughty Hippo. I'm sure she would claim that he might be. But I tell you what, I can't really talk about stubbornness because, again, like I said, if you ask Della, I'm sure she'll tell you I'm one of the most hard-headed, thick-skulled people she's ever met in her whole life. You know,
Yeah.
of
Well,
course,
like I
you may.
said, I'm stubborn too, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about everybody else being stubborn.
Well, I will. It's okay. I'll do it. I
Okay.
don't mind.
All right. All
But
right.
see, but see, what makes me non-hypocritical is because I agree that I am also stubborn. You know.
Yeah.
Just know that your stubbornness won't change mine.
Oh,
Hello,
it
Kelly
will if I
Fitzpatrick.
want it to.
Well, you are sure willing to you are sure willing to try. I don't mind a bit. If you're willing, I'm willing to listen. I won't make any guarantees though.
I was joking, Terry.
Well, you know, I don't know if you guys have seen a difference just in me in the last year,
I have.
but I have had my eyes opened a lot because a lot of the things that I went out in the beginning with the camera thinking that I was going to find, that's not exactly what I found. So because of that, I've had to change perspectives. I've had new information, you know, and new ideas, which help to shape my stubbornness a little. So I'm still stubborn as hell, just about different things.
Well, let me ask you a question. Before
Sure.
you started this, before Chili came to Ironton and everything, were you watching?
Was I watching Chili? No, I had
No, no, no,
never.
not Chili, others.
Yes, absolutely. I had watched a lot of auditors. Um,
I
I
figured you did.
I was I was assuming that when I went out there, that the cops would try to make me their enemy. That's what I expected, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I was not willing to be the one to create the confrontation, unlike many of the other guys.
Uh-huh.
And when I didn't, you know how they say, "Don't start shit, won't be shit."
Right.
Well, I didn't go out and start anything with them, and because I didn't, there hasn't been anything.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of making them enemies, I've actually turned them into allies.
Yeah.
I've earned their respect rather than their hate.
Hmm.
And I wish that, that other auditors would try that, because within every law enforcement division, there are some good people in there. Now, maybe they're not perfect, but hell, neither am I, and neither are they. You know what I mean? So it's not about being the absolute best. It's about taking the best you have, making them better, and letting them root out the bad ones. I hope that
Hmm.
makes sense. And you've seen that happen here.
Yeah.
You've seen that happen right here in Ironton with the Ironton Police Department. They had to arrest one of their own, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
So,
it.
did you think the police were that the other auditors were doing what they should and the police were just being mean to him?
At times, it depends on the specific video, and sometimes it depends on the editing of said specific video, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when if you didn't know anything about anything. Let's say you lived on an island by yourself for 50 years, and all of a sudden somebody
Oh
shows up
my
with
gosh.
this device with it. Somebody shows up with a device called a TV, and they let you watch the movie Armageddon. If you didn't know anything, you would swear to God that Bruce Willis and a team of oil rig roughnecks went to outer space, drilled a hole, put a nuke in it, and saved the Earth. You would have no choice but to believe it. But that's only because of camera trickery and nice editing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I found that a lot of the, not all, and again, I'm not trying to broad brush every single auditor or cop watcher out there, of course, but there are a select few who. Another thing that I don't know if you guys understand it. If you've ever watched my post office video, whenever I
Yes.
audited the local post office here, there's a gentleman that walks out and gives me a terrible look as he walks out. Now, what I did that you can't see behind the camera is when our eyes met, I looked at him, I smiled really big, and all I did was nod.
Uh-huh.
And so he kept his look of disgust and walked right on out. Now, if I would had just decided to follow him everywhere he went with that camera and give him a mean look as he's doing it, guess what? I would have stirred him right up, and I would have had one of those nice clickbait videos for y'all to watch.
Right.
That's all it would have really taken.
Yeah.
So know that this kind of stuff goes on behind that camera, the things that you can't see. You think that because the voice you're hearing sounds good to you, that it sounds good to everybody else. But body language is 99% of a conversation, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Zeus had a video the other day of an auditor who was trying to go into a building, and he would cut out parts and then he'd say, I didn't film it, but here's what he said. I didn't film it, but they let me in without ID, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he introduced himself as a reporter. He has a camera going. Now, do I believe that he didn't film that interaction? Yeah, no, he cut it out.
Well, maybe you didn't. Maybe they told him to turn his camera off, and he did. I wouldn't know. However, those edited videos, they don't work out too well. That's why all the videos you see of mine, they're not edited. There are
Yeah.
no cuts in them, right? I didn't edit anything. Even when I used to upload the videos and didn't even go live, I just let it run. And that was part of the reason, because I wanted everyone out there to see that I am not cutting anything. I'm not trying to present you an agenda. I don't have an agenda, and I'm not trying to present a certain look to you. I want you to have the ability to see what I see and hear what I hear, and regardless of my personal opinion, to have enough information to make up your own mind. That was my original, thought behind it. But yes, I did watch the auditors, and yes, I thought when I went out there that maybe, and I didn't know this, but I'd heard a lot of stories, and I thought maybe these guys were so corrupt, who knows what's about to happen. I didn't really know. And the first few times that I was out with the camera, I'll be honest, I was scared to death. It's not something that a man likes to admit, but being a tiny little guy, I was terrified, right? I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to get arrested. I don't want to be beat or tased, especially just for trying to exercise my rights. And thank God the Ironton Police Department are not the tyrannical bastards that we have been told, and they didn't do any of that to me. As a matter of fact, they have pretty much welcomed me in with open arms, and if I ask them what happened, they'll generally tell me, you guys have seen it. Hell, I don't need to tell you what happens. You already know. I managed to earn their respect, and that doesn't mean that we're friends. We're not. We don't have late night conversations. We don't have barbecues in the backyard. I don't go to all the police hangouts and sit there. It's not like that. But when we do meet, it is always cordial, and there is always respect going from me to them and from them to me. So I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that on camera too, as a matter of fact. It should come clear anyway, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
So, the idea, the whole idea is, if you think that your law enforcement are that corrupt, is it a good idea to go out and stir the shit pot? No, it's not. You would be really stupid to go do that. In my opinion, the best thing to do would be to go about it as cordially as you can so that you can pick your allies among the assholes, right?
I'm dying laughing at 65.
Uh-oh. Let's see here. He says, you always cut out the part where you and Eugene park and play. You're right. You're damn right. I cut that out, 65. I can't let footage like that out. Are you kidding me?
And thank God he does cut it out.
Right. Nobody wants to see that
Nobody
anyway.
wants to see that.
Let's see here. Sorry, guys, I haven't been keeping up with the chat much. Society Red said there are no such thing as auditors in what you were talking about. If you are an auditor, what industry standards or benchmarks do you use to gauge how government agency is doing? Well, let me explain something. That term auditor is a self-proclaimed title, and there is no school to go to, and there is no expert in the field that can tell you exactly what you should do and exactly what steps you should follow to be an auditor. These guys have assumed, and I agree to a point, if you do not exercise your rights, then that means you don't have any. Now, let me explain. If you think that you have the Second Amendment right to open carry a firearm, you will never, ever know that if you never, ever carry an open carried firearm. How the hell would you know? If no one does, then you would never know anyone had that right. The only way you're ever going to know is to strap one on and go walking down the street and see what happens, right? Nothing's supposed to, but the only way to know is to flex that muscle. The more you flex it, the stronger it gets, and it's the same way with rights. However, I hope that people go back. If you're coming in late and you didn't hear the my little thing on speech, I hope you go back and you listen to that and understand that freedom comes with responsibility, right? So make sure that if you're using your freedom, your First Amendment, if you're using your freedom of press, do it respectfully and cordially. If you're using your freedom of speech, do it respectfully and cordially.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you do should be done with a certain amount of decency and cordiality.
I agree.
Good. I'm glad because that just seems what is right. I think Society Red is talking about what we might consider auditing, like if you go to Walmart and they're having their audit, right? Or I used to work in a restaurant and I was a general manager. I had a restaurant that was my responsibility, and I was audited not only financially but also physically with the physical inventory and also my payroll, and then how I dealt with my employees, my staff, and all of that. These people do have a specific set of principles and rules that they are following. Unfortunately, when it is self-proclaimed, self kind of gets out there and does what self does, and some of ourselves are not very responsible. Others are very unintelligent. That's my opinion.
Yes.
And again, I'm not going to throw names. I'll let them decide who they are, and they have it within themselves to change if they decide to, or to go ahead and try to make the money they're making with what they're doing. Believe me, I would love to make $1 million doing YouTube. Unfortunately, it's not worth my time trying to lie or to present a certain agenda, and that money's not that important to me.
And what's sad is that you would have to do that.
Right. It does seem that way. It absolutely does seem that way.
And why is it? It's because of the viewers. They want the drama. They want to be told what they're wanting to hear. They don't want to hear something that goes against their beliefs. They'll just turn you off.
Right. Well, the thing is they love to watch a dumpster fire in action. That's why they love to watch Chili so much.
Right.
It's because he is burning down and the world's watching it happen. They love that stuff. But for me, I don't enjoy that. I don't really enjoy watching one person do nothing but sit and talk bad about another. I don't give a damn if they deserve it or not. It's really not entertaining to me. I don't enjoy the dumpster fire, However, again, I'm still working on that new show I've been talking about. I know it's been a long time in coming, guys, but I got a lot of ducks to get in a row because I want it to be perfect when it goes out. And it should draw a lot of those dumpster fire seekers, not because we'll have a dumpster fire, but because we will be tackling some real talk with some real people. We'll be talking about current events, things happening, and the opinions of just regular people about it. So I found
Oh,
that
I
that
love
is,
current events.
what's that?
I love current events.
Well, good, because we're definitely going to be talking about a few. I definitely have a few opinions of my own that I would like to throw out there. I would like to say something, actually, a few things about a couple of things that seem to be happening that I don't much like, and I think that the majority feel the way I do. But we'll find all that out when I get to it. I don't want to do it here and now. And again, like I said, I want to do it on the other channel, and the reason is because YouTube is they're very hard on you depending on what you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even every video that I put out, whether it's a live or a video, the monetization is always limited. It's always yellow. I don't get a green anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. And I assume it's probably most of it's my language, because I
That's
don't
what I
give a shit.
figure.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. So they, because I don't, they do. But anyway, if they strike my channel or if they shut it down, I want it to be the other channel rather than this one, because everybody knows where to find me here. So if I keep this one going, I can start another channel off this one as soon as they shut that one down. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. So
Yeah.
that's the reason, the entire reason that I want to do it on the other channel, because I'm probably going to say some things that you guys might agree with, but YouTube may not like so well. Sometimes they don't like the straight truth, especially with the words I choose to use. So there you go.
Terry,
Let's
did you
see.
just go on? Do you mind if I go off on a different topic?
I don't mind at all. Go right ahead.
Did you happen to see about the kids who were in a plane crash
No,
in Colombia?
no, I did
Their
not.
their mother was killed. The pilots were killed. The rest of the family was killed. But
Oh,
the
yes, the ones they
the
found,
four
like,
children, yeah,
yes, it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, something like
no,
that. It was,
34 days.
oh, was it? Well, hell, it was a month.
Yeah,
It was like 4 weeks later then, I guess. My
yeah,
goodness.
and they were found safe in the rainforest. It was like that was just such an amazing story. I feel,
That is
you know,
definitely a positive story
yeah,
from a very negative one. A very
yeah,
bad thing happened, but it turned out good for them. So
right,
yeah, I'm definitely glad that happened. I apologize. I watched that video and hadn't even remembered it
yeah.
when you mentioned it.
And I think the youngest was like 1 or 2 years old, and the oldest was 14.
Well,
It
apparently that was a very well-behaved and intelligent 14-year-old in order to keep
yes,
those kids together and keep them surviving for, the better part of a month
right,
or a whole month from what you said. It was 30 some days, so I guess it was
yeah,
beyond a month.
yeah. Bloody panda, yes, I did, and that is so disgusting. I don't mean you're disgusting. I mean that
Okay,
dad.
what did I miss? Because apparently I missed something here.
Oh, he killed his children in front of his wife and stepchild. And I think one little boy was running to get away, and he pulled him back and killed. I mean, it's just disgusting.
Wow. Wow.
Awful.
I can't even wrap my head around a parent killing someone else's children, or not even a parent, but especially a
Right.
parent, let alone killing their own. That makes no, I don't get it. I can't
I
understand
know.
that. And I don't think there's anything anyone could explain to me that would make me say, oh, I get it. I understand. You know what I mean? I don't think those words exist.
Yeah. It's just beyond any comprehension that I have.
Oops. I see Green Lord says Hunter Biden will not be doing any jail time. He has struck a deal with the Department of Justice. You know what I've learned, man? Our own mayor struck a deal and didn't even have to pay for a DUI. So I'm not sure why you would expect Hunter Biden to pay any prices if you think he's done something wrong. It
Green
seems
Lord,
like,
do you think he should be serving jail time? I mean, he's charged with 2 counts of not paying his taxes, but he has since paid them before he was ever charged.
what I find interesting? There's been a lot of great criminals in the world who went down for tax evasion because
Yeah,
that's all they could get on them.
yeah. And then he
You know,
got a gun charge, a gun he had in his possession for 2 weeks and didn't commit any crime with it other than just having it in his possession while he was an addict.
Let me say hello to Baby Doll Ironton and hello Dusty out there. If you're watching, hello to both of you. I hope you're all having a good night. Dreamy Lynn says that she believes that YouTube restrictions are more because minors watch this platform. So as adults, it is our responsibility to curb what we put out as a degree of responsibility on our part. Well, that may be true to a certain extent. However, I think language is a ridiculous reason to limit someone. That's my personal opinion, and I know that there'll be a million people that disagree with me. Let me explain. I don't give a shit. So there you go. I have a certain set of colorful metaphors and adjectives and adverbs that I use, and there you go. What are we talking about? Yeah, messages are held by YouTube. If you use certain words or you put certain words in a certain order, YouTube will absolutely hold that comment back, and I would have to go to my YouTube studio to see that. And some of them that I've even tried to let out of there and post, it deleted anyway as soon as I let it out of there. So YouTube doesn't always like true freedom of speech, and it is their platform. So I can't really bitch about it. I'm using their platform. They didn't come to mine. So.
And YouTube chat has been messed up for like the last 3 weeks or so. Those messages that are held, I can click to allow it, and then
there's some of them that don't even show up. They're deleted by YouTube and stuck in YouTube Studio, so even a mod would not have access to them. So those are the ones I'm talking about. I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about. I've just seen them, talking about things there.
Those other ones that are held where we can fix it, the mods can fix it. After I try to fix it, then like my next post, I get booted out of YouTube.
They don't like you.
Come on, Terry. Who doesn't like me?
Well, apparently YouTube doesn't. The rest of us are fine with you. Raymond Brady says, Terry, you are all lucky to have Chad that knows and believes in the Constitution. For the moment, I will agree with that statement. Captain Goo has been, I tell you what, it's almost become a friendship. Like we are there, and I never thought that would actually happen. Now, again, we're not the best of friends, and we don't sit around and have those late night conversations or barbecues in the backyard. That's not what I'm talking about, but we have developed a bit of a friendship. So I hope to keep fostering that. And he seems to have a great head on his shoulders. He understands that his job is to protect and maintain the public peace while defending the rights of the Constitution and the people. So I hope that he is instilling that in the younger officers that are under his charge. So I agree with you that we are lucky to have a police officer like that, because it seems like maybe some departments don't necessarily have one. Dreamy said, I'm not saying we shouldn't have free speech at all. I agree with you, Dreamy. The only time I ever have a problem is like, I don't really have much of a filter. Now, I love kids, and I spend a lot of time with kids. And when I am with them, I talk to them not like I talk to you. However, if I were to stand straight up from where I was at and turn around and start talking to an adult, I lose my filter immediately. And it's mainly because I don't really give two fucks if your child hears me say the word fuck. It's not going to destroy their fucking lives. They're going to grow up just fucking fine. They're going to hear it somewhere. It's not going to hurt them. They'll be okay. It's your job as the parents. If it bothers your ears so much, it is your job as the parent to protect your child from that, not to attack me for it. What you should do is explain to your child, these are words that we don't use. He uses them, and we don't like that, but he's allowed to, right? It's your job to use that as a teaching moment for your children, not to teach your children that it's okay to go ahead and be a dumbass and raise a big fuss in public at someone because they have offended you by saying some dumb shit in front of your kids.
See,
anybody that
I would remove my child.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's the parent's responsibility to either protect their children from that or to explain it to them. That's what I'm saying. You can't go off on the person that said it because it's their full legal right to say so, right? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I
Some
understand what I'll say, I understand what you're saying.
oh, good deal. Good deal. Um,
I'll leave it at that.
I'm not asking you necessarily to agree, but as long as you understand where I'm coming from,
I
then it makes
understand.
sense. You know, I just want to make sure that people understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to offend parents out there, and I know parents can get very offended really quick. And it's not their kid. The hell, the kids didn't give a fuck anyway. It didn't matter to the kid. They're still playing, doing what they were doing. You know what I mean? So, oh, let's see. Smitty says, I lost my wrench. What the fuck have you, Terry? I do not know, Smitty. You should have your wrench. I don't know how you would have lost it. I didn't take it away unless you're on a different account. Um, I don't know, man. I'll look at it later and see
Hey,
what's going on with
Smitty. Hey, Smitty. We don't care.
that. There you go. We don't care, Smitty. It's good to see you, by the way, sir. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday night, even if you don't care and you ain't got a wrench. Is he not blue out there? I can't see, unfortunately, here on StreamYard. It shows everything as black unless you're a member, and then it just shows it as green. It does not show me how long you've been a member, and it does not show who the mods are. So I can't tell who has a wrench and who doesn't from StreamYard. I would have to go over to YouTube, and what I'll have to do is rewatch one of my videos until Smitty comes up, and then when he does, I'll have to add it then. That's the only way I know how to do it. If I go to the studio and try to type it in, the problem is there's so many different channels with the same name. You know what I mean? Like if you go to look up, I don't know, let me think of a good one. Like when I went to look up Fubar's channel, there's like 100 different Fubars out there. So it was, it was very difficult to find his channel without an exact link. So, oh, let's see, what does that say? Rack the Jipper says Freedom is having a nice little what? I guess that's a nice little fire in your pit, drinking some Yingling and peeing on a tree without anyone bothering you. Hell yeah. Well, I guess that would be included in freedom. Make sure that tree's not in the middle of the street somewhere in public, and I don't mind a bit. I guess we can file that under freedom, can't we, Lisa?
Yeah, and see, I don't understand how you type in the chat from up here.
Well, if you're in StreamYard, you can't. The only
Oh.
one that can type in the StreamYard chat is the host,
Oh,
which
okay.
is why when you see me co-host on someone else's channel, you'll see me typing in the chat, but I have to have a second tab open on my browser with YouTube open at the same time as StreamYard. So when they
Oh.
say something to me and it seems like I'm not listening, no, I have to switch back the screen, unmute the mic, and then respond. So that's usually what's happening. It's because I have the mic muted and I've had to switch tabs to be able to communicate with the chat. So that's how I do it, and it's the only way I know of doing it. But when you're in StreamYard and on a panel, there's no way to. You just have to talk to them. There's no way to communicate in the chat. But if there's something that you'd like to say, the floor is yours.
Oh no, I've just been trying to figure out how to do that this whole time.
Oh well, you can't.
You know me in the chat.
You can quit trying to figure it out right now. There's no way to get it done. So there you are.
Wasted all that brain power.
Oh, there you go. There's a true statement. Welsh News Network says people are far too interested in their rights and forget about their responsibilities. Right.
100%.
You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have your rights without being responsible with them. If you do, you're an irresponsible ass and you shouldn't have any rights. So now you know. You're expected to take that, expected to man up, or as your case may be, woman up, and be responsible in life. You have to be. Responsibility contains so many pieces and parts. Maybe I'll have to explain responsibility sometime, like I did freedom. But know that you have to have empathy. You have to have a certain amount of compassion, and compassion is not the biggest. Empathy is. I don't really care so much about compassion because compassion usually leads to sympathy, and sympathy sucks. It doesn't really help. However, empathy is much more important because understanding where someone comes from and why will help your communication with them 1,000%. Would you say that's a true statement? Oh, I've lost you again. All right, I guess I'll carry on all by myself. It's a good thing I'm good at talking into a camera all by myself, I suppose. Orange Cone says, clearly Terry is not a real auditor because he doesn't use two phones and a laptop while driving. Right, I generally keep both hands on the wheel, which is definitely not something that Chili does a whole lot. There she is. We'll bring her back again. Are you there?
I'm here.
I keep saying when you pop out, it's a good thing I'm able to talk all by myself.
It's anytime I switch to a different screen on my phone, it does that.
Well, quit it.
Mr. Lisa's just going to have to wait. Smitty, I see that.
Yeah, he said, thank God Lisa's gone. She's not gone. She's not gone, man. She's back.
I may have been gone, but I was not forgotten.
Right. Well, never forgotten, of course. Like anybody else that is normally in our chat and in the community, you guys know that no matter what we do for the rest of our lives, if I quit streaming today, I could never forget any one of you. You know, each one of you have made your mark on my heart and my mind over this past year. So thank you, each and every one of you, for that. I appreciate it. Because of you, you are allowing me to be more educated, more aware, and becoming wiser as I go. So I do appreciate it. Smitty said, Lisa, who?
Smitty, don't make me come down there.
Right. Better watch out, Smitty. If she does, man, you'll have to deal with that. Matter of fact, I might just follow you, and I'll get that on camera. That could be interesting. We'll go audit Smitty and Lisa's interaction. Hello, Art Sac Union. It's good to see you out there. I hope you're having a good night too. Says the price for freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Well, some people have been willing to pay. What I find in life is everybody wants love and honor, but not too many people want to pay the asking price. And let me explain to you that if you want to be loved and honored and be an honorable person full of integrity, yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Just saying. It's not the easiest thing to do. It takes a lot of self-discipline. You know, it takes a lot of time to consider how everybody else's lives and rights play into your own. I hope that makes some sense. I don't know if I always speak as clear as I want to, guys. I try to. But, oh, there you go. Someone get this man a booster seat, right? I can barely see the keyboard from where I'm sitting now. It's a good thing I don't have to type. Just so you guys know, my ass does drag the ground, but it's not because it's so long. It's because my legs are so short. You'll have that.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, there we go. We got broken system, broken trust. He said, I didn't cut out any of my court proceeding, but folks said that I was being contemptuous. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, sir. I'll be honest. I've not been following your court proceeding, and I'm not sure who you're talking about. And I promise you it was not on this channel. So,
I watched it.
Did you?
I watched it.
I have to admit, I don't watch a lot of this stuff, and I don't watch a lot of the community chats. I do enter them. Usually everybody's on at the same time, so it's hard to sit and watch a whole episode. But I stick around for a bit to make sure they get the view, give them the thumbs up, and usually I'm on and out of there. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to what's going on out there, guys, to be honest. So I apologize if you think that I should sit and be like the best subscriber of your channel. I apologize that I'm not. I've got my own channel and life to deal with, guys. So, you know, It's hard to spend that much time into YouTube. Hello, now, Justin B. Justin B's asking me how I am tonight. I am great, sir. Completely good for nothing, but I'm great anyway. What were you going to say, Lisa?
I was going to say, I was watching it, and most of the time it's just like, oh my gosh, why is he saying that? It's just an arraignment. It's not a trial. Why is he saying that?
I'll be honest, I have no freaking clue, man. I don't know. Let's see, where'd that go? Uh-oh. So the only thing lower than Ironton auditor height is Chili's ethics. That might be true. Chili's ethics are not even as high as an anthill as far as I know. He's not very ethical. But when you're not very intelligent, you'll have that problem. You know, really stupid people are not ethical. That's just the way it works, guys. Sorry to be the one to tell you, but that's how it works. Oh, there you go. Now you're trying to stir the shit pot. Says, well, sir, you were trying to buy some drugs from Corrections 101. Broken system, broken trust. If you're just in here trying to stir the shit pot, you're free to get the fuck out, sir. I mean, I don't mind you being here, but if you're going to be here, be a respectful member of the chat and don't start running your bullshit. That's all I ask. Ain't nobody asked you to come and run your mouth. You don't need to. It's not necessary. You're welcome to stay and participate in the conversation if you wish, or you're free to get the fuck out if you don't want to do that. I hope
Terry,
that
that's all he
plain enough.
does.
Well, I was just hoping I made that plain enough. I'm not trying to make him an enemy, but we're not allies, so it's not like I'm losing anything. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to be real. I'm trying to talk about some serious shit here. My serious shit is not broken system, broken trust, fifis. I'll be honest. I don't really care about his feelings or his court case, so it's not my problem. If that makes me sound like a selfish asshole, then there you go. Maybe I am. I got my own shit and wife to worry about. All right. So,
Queen is correct.
BS, BT, you're a snitch. Well, says drugs are good. Okay. That wasn't a very good impersonation, guys. I'm not great at impersonations, but there you go. Yeah, well, drugs are good for certain reasons, for sure. And it'll definitely take you out of the world and give you a different way of thinking or no way to think. I've known a few of those too. Have you been around many addicts, Lisa? Have you had the pleasure?
No, I have not.
Well, let me tell you that it's not always the most fun thing.
Yeah, let me say I have not spent a lot of time around addicts. I have spent time around mothers of addicts.
Well, then you've heard it. You've heard everything that I could tell you then about how it's not a singular problem. That problem extends through the entire family and anyone that cares about that person.
Yes.
Unfortunately, addiction
Yes.
becomes everybody in the family's problem. Let me say hello
Absolutely.
to Bobby Williams really quick. I see you out there. Hello, Bobby. I apologize, Lisa. Please go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're right. It's they're not only hurting themselves, they are hurting everyone who loves them.
Right.
And they may think they don't care if they lose them or not, but once they lose those who love them, what do they have?
Well, they have nothing, but usually you don't know what you got till it's gone. I hate to quote an 80s song, but there you go. You don't really realize what you've lost until you don't have it, and then you know what you actually had. And addicts, unfortunately, their only thought in the average day is how to get more of what they need to get where they think they need to go. And they don't realize how it's actually destroying their entire lives. They're sitting around going, "Why are you trying to ruin my fun?" They don't realize they're not actually having any when they're sitting there incoherent and slobbering on themselves. They don't know that, unfortunately.
Hey, Smitty, who am I? I'm the person who asked for a refund on your OnlyFans page.
Oh, that was both funny and wrong. That's probably why it was so funny. Wow. That was one I didn't expect right there. Bloody Panda says, "You want me to bring my kid's booster seat when you get on the Band-Aid bus, Terry?" A lot of the time, says a lot of the time an addicted just needs the kindness to get that help. You are correct. Sometimes that's all they need, but unfortunately, we want to get addicts help, and that's the thing. But if they don't want it, then it won't matter if they go through the program. That's one thing I know to be a fact about addicts. They can go through a 90-day program, be clean as shit, you're proud as hell, and within 2 weeks of coming home, they're right back where they started. And the reason is because they didn't really want to quit to start with. That's the problem. As an addict, you have to not want to do it worse than you do want to do it. And until that moment gets here, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. And it sure as hell don't matter how anybody else feels or how much it hurts them. And nothing you say to that addict is going to convince them otherwise. That's my experience so far. So try not to hate them. Try to love them anyway. But make sure you don't put yourself in one of those situations where you are the one funding it and hating yourself for doing it. You know what I mean? One of those codependency situations where you realize that your loved one is going to be sick if they don't get what they need because of their addiction, and you don't want to do it, but you feel like you have no choice. The best thing I can tell you is you need to have an intervention with them and cut them the hell off. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway, but they can do it without your time, effort, and money. I'm just saying. And I know it's hard. I get it. I know if it's your child or your mother, your aunt, your cousin, your best friend, I realize that's really hard to do. I understand, but it becomes necessary. You know, it's the only thing that's going to show them that you will not tolerate certain things, right? You know, sometimes you have to prove what you say. If you say, "Look, I'm never giving you any more money again," and tomorrow you give them another $20, you're a liar. You're an absolute liar.
Yeah.
So, do what you say what you mean, and do what you do. But, that's my advice. I hope somebody takes it to heart out there.
Now, and in my head, I agree with that. In my heart, if that was my child, could I do that? I don't know that I could, Terry.
That's why I was saying it's very, very difficult to look at your
Yeah.
child and know that they may not eat tonight because you're
Yeah.
not going to give them enough money to buy food and drugs. And deciding not to is probably one of the hardest things in the world to try to do as a parent. I will only say that if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway. But don't let them drag you down the gutter with them.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, it's not a singular problem. Addiction affects everybody that is involved with that person. That's just how it works. It's a very selfish type thing, but that's how it works.
And I'll say too, this is something that can and does affect any family. I mean,
Right.
it's not, your income doesn't determine it. Your social
Right.
set does not determine it. This is in families across the.
But it affects the rich the same as it does the poor. It affects
Exactly.
it affects a gay man as much as it'll affect a straight man. It
Right.
affects a white man the same as it will a black man or a yellow man. It makes no fucking difference. We're all susceptible to addiction, unfortunately. So you're right. It absolutely is not a respecter of persons, and it will tear apart a family and people quicker than anything else I know. It will absolutely decimate a family if you're not careful. You
Yeah.
let it in.
Smitty, you
Sorry
do
about
know
that.
I'm just messing with you, right? I still love you.
Raymond Brady says, Terry is a good man. Thank you for that statement, Raymond. I don't know that is true. I tend to think that no one is good but God, but hey, I appreciate your opinion anyway. Um, I don't walk around thinking I'm a great kind of guy. I just try to be honest. I just try to be as transparent as possible and honest. What you see is what you get, no more, no less. I don't claim to be great. I just claim to be me. I claim to be great at being me, though. I do claim that. I think I'm a better me than anyone else, but that's just it's probably just because I'm arrogant. But yes, I actually had my own addiction about 15 years ago for about 2.5 to 3 years, and yeah, it took a toll on me. It took a toll on those who loved me, and it definitely took something out of me, and I'm glad that it did because it changed me. I came to a point where it was either continue or quit, and obviously I quit. But if I hadn't gotten there, I would not have the understanding I have. So it was not a positive experience, and I would never do it again. However, because it's already there, I wouldn't go back and change it now. I think that helped my family to understand that even though, and the way you guys see me is kind of the way they saw me, being a pretty good guy. I don't get in trouble. I don't go out and cause problems for anybody. And so they got to see addiction affect someone even like me, who seemed like they would have never done such a thing. And even I thought that. Even I thought that I would have never done such a thing. And yet, I
Yeah.
did find myself there for a while. So, it can and does happen. And if you're not careful, depending on the situation, it could happen to you too.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just thankful. I never did drugs because if I would have, I would have probably been an addict because I do have an addictive personality.
well,
Um,
I'm kind of addicted to you. I like having you around.
well, no, that's not what I meant. But I mean, like I don't drink coffee. I used to drink coffee, and when I do drink coffee, I don't drink like a cup or two. I would drink like 3 or 4 pots a day. It was
I used
um
to do that.
I
I
used to
used to have a
smoke.
pot going 90% of the day, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
You used to smoke?
Yeah, I told you that before. Yes,
You
I used to.
probably did. You probably did. I'm sorry that I forgot that detail.
That's okay. Don't let it happen again. No.
I'll do my very best. I will do my very best. See, guys, addiction affects everybody. Look how
Yeah.
it's affecting me now.
I
Justin B says,
quit
Ironton Auditor, don't forget your Terry stops, all that coffee you drink, right?
right.
I have been known to drink a lot of coffee. And the funny thing is like, have you ever seen a social drinker, someone who really doesn't drink much unless they get around a group? And then it's like they have to have it. That's how my coffee is. I don't really drink a lot of it, but if we're just sitting around the house and talking, like now or on a live, I can't help it, man. I've got to have something to drink, and coffee is usually my go-to choice. So I just like to. It's my social drink, you know. Makes me feel comfortable in myself to be all warm and nestled, you know, in a good cup of coffee.
Okay, I'm
Uh-oh.
going to kick Smitty back.
Okay.
Although I can't type now.
65 CJ5 says he was a sex addict, but now he's old and couldn't give a fuck. Well, there you go. See
Sounds like a
that's
personal problem
yeah,
to me.
that's what happens when you go from giving a fuck to can't give a fuck. Age will definitely play a part in it. When your prostate's as big as your head, you know, yeah, you'll have that problem. Just saying. Art Sack says, Ironton Auditor, would you say yes to an Arizona green tea? Actually, I would say a huge no. I love tea. I do. I love all kinds of tea. I don't like green tea. I can drink almost any tea, but I do not like green tea. And generally, if I'm drinking iced or cold tea, I like it unsweetened. I
Really?
don't really like, yeah, I don't really like sugar in it. Now, if I'm drinking hot tea, like my chamomile tea, I love hot chamomile tea, but I will add sugar to that. But only when it's hot. If it's cold, I prefer it unsweetened. That
Now the
sounds strange.
only tea I like is sweet tea, sweet iced tea. I and actually I'm at the point now I don't like any hot drink.
Wow. I don't know what
And
I would do without my hot coffee.
maybe hot chocolate if I'm freezing. You know, like if I've been out in the cold,
Right.
you know, like at a football game or something like that and need to warm up. Um, but yeah, I'm just like I don't understand the hot drinks. Especially
Orange
in the summertime.
Orange Cones is like Captain Jean-Luc Picard. She likes Earl Grey hot. I also like Earl Grey. I also enjoy the double bergamot they have. That's really good. Axiom says that he likes bitter lemon tea.
Oh wait, I want to see a picture of this Earl Grey if he's hot.
Right? Never knew that there was an Earl in your future, did you, Lisa?
That's right.
Whether he be Mr. Gray or Mr. someone else, huh? Bobby says she
Mr.
got to have
Least.
her sweet tea down in North Carolina. That must be a thing.
Oh yeah, anything in the South. You know,
They
you
they
can't.
they typically like it. I think at least what I've seen, and it's only because I'm not that far south. When I usually see Southern style tea, it's generally a little sweeter than
Yeah,
the standard iced tea.
yeah.
So apparently they like their sugar down there.
You know that like above Chillicothe, you can't find sweet tea.
Really?
Yeah, if you go to restaurants and stuff, and it's around about Chillicothe area. Above north of that, you ask for
Well,
sweet tea, and they're like, "We don't have that."
in their defense, anything north of Chillicothe is a completely different state. We should be considered part of Kentucky and West Virginia. They should split it down the
That's
middle
true.
down here and just consider it Kentucky and West Virginia because we are definitely nothing like the rest of the state.
We are. You know what I always told people where I live? We live in West of Kentucky.
That's about right. That is about it right there. You know that western part of the western southern end of the state. we are definitely more of Kentucky and West Virginia than we are Ohio,
Hmm.
in speech and action, and a lot of times morals as well. You know,
Yeah.
there again, we were talking about that little protected area that we kind of have here, where we're kind of walled off from the rest of the world to a certain extent,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
those things that the rest of the world talks about seeing and hearing and knowing, to us it seems like a TV show. We don't know such things.
Right. And honestly, if we weren't being told that they exist, we'd have no idea. That if we wasn't seeing it on TV or something, because it's just not, well, I started to say it's not in this area. It is, but we just don't, there's not much of it.
Right. Well, Orange Cone says that North Carolina restaurant staff will roll their eyes at you if you order unsweetened tea. Probably does sound strange to them, I would say.
As
Hello,
well they
Hugh
should.
Caldwell. Hello, Hugh. Glad to see you're here, and hopefully you're having a good Tuesday night. I'm sorry, Lisa. Please go ahead.
That's okay. I was telling Orange Cones, as well they should.
Yeah, well, they obviously think so. I learned what got me started drinking unsweetened iced tea. Actually, I was about 12 or 13 years old. My grandmother would always make iced tea, and I had been out with my grandpa working all day. It was hot as a three-pecker billy goat in a whorehouse. I'm telling you, it was so hot, that you could barely, instead of sweating, I was sure that the top of my head was melting and running down my face. It was that kind of hot. I wasn't feeling that well because of the heat. I wasn't well hydrated. I was a dumb kid and I didn't know any better. So when we got back to the house, I started guzzling iced tea. And it made me so incredibly sick to my stomach, and I found that if I drink it unsweetened, it goes down better. It stays down better without the sugar. And so I just got kind of used to it. Now I just prefer it that way.
Hmm. I still just can't get past the part of the hot drinks in the summer.
I
When
don't
it's
drink.
100 degrees outside and somebody takes a hot drink, yeah, I just don't get that.
Hello to Shane. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday out there where you're at too. Hello back. And as far as the hot drinks, I cannot be out in the heat and drink a hot cup of coffee. I can't do it.
Hmm.
Like you, it's too damn hot, and I can't do it. However, once I've gotten into the house and if there's air and I've cooled off, I could probably drink some then. But when my body temperature's up, or if I'm in the heat, there is no way I can drink anything hot.
Hmm.
Usually it's just ice water, or well, not ice water, but tap water. I don't put ice in it. I just drink it straight out of the tap or straight out of the bottle off the floor. I don't even like it refrigerated, mainly because
That
I'm going to
is
guzzle it.
that's the way Mr. Lisa drinks it.
Well, there you go. See, Mr. Lisa and I probably have a lot of things in common.
We go to a restaurant and he always orders water with no ice, and they look at him, and
I get
I
those looks too.
I tell him, I say he's allergic to ice.
Right? Makes him break out in chill bumps. He doesn't like
Yeah,
that.
think about that one a minute.
It's funny because if I ask for water, a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, I got some in the fridge cold." I'm like, "Do you have some out of the fridge that's not cold?" And they always look at me like I just grew a second and third head. So, apparently that does sound kind of strange to people, but I would prefer it at room or tap temperature. That's my favorite because I'm going to guzzle it. A 16-ounce bottle of water lasts less than 30 seconds in my hand, and now it's just an empty bottle. So, and that's the reason I don't sip. I'm not a sipper. It's got to be something hot if I'm going to sip it because I'm going to gulp it as soon as it starts to cool anyway.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
not
now
much for
ice
sipping.
water is my drink. I love ice water.
Hello to 15th Bend. I hope you're having a good Tuesday out there. Hello to you, sir. So, guys, I didn't want to stay on here too awful long tonight. We've been about an hour and
Yeah.
40 minutes. It's a great, wonderful Tuesday evening out there. I hope everybody goes on to enjoy it tonight. But I did want to explain my definition of freedom. I think I managed to do that. And for the people out there that haven't heard it, I think I want to let it go one more time and let y'all hear it one last time before I sign off tonight. So if you give me just a quick second, I'm going to bring that back up and run it one last time. Here we go. This is Ironton Auditor's definition of freedom.
I want to talk to you all about a concept that is cherished by all, yet often misunderstood: freedom. In a world where we often take this precious gift for granted, it is important to remind ourselves of what freedom truly is and why it is so essential to our lives. Freedom is not merely the absence of physical constraints or the ability to do whatever we please. It is a multifaceted concept that encompasses a range of fundamental rights and responsibilities. True freedom lies in the delicate balance between personal autonomy and collective harmony. First and foremost, freedom means the right to express ourselves openly and without fear. It is the liberty to speak our minds, to share our ideas and beliefs, even and especially if they are controversial or unpopular. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of a democratic society, enabling the exchange of diverse perspectives and fostering intellectual growth. However, this freedom also demands responsibility, to use our words wisely and respecting the dignity and the rights of others. Freedom also includes the right to assemble peacefully, to come together and form communities based on shared interests, beliefs, or goals. It is the power to gather with like-minded individuals to advocate for change, to peacefully protest against injustice, to build strong, cohesive societies. Yet this freedom comes with the responsibility to respect the rights and perspectives of those who may differ from us, fostering dialogue and understanding instead of division. Moreover, freedom entails the right to choose our own path in life, to pursue our dreams and aspirations. It means having access to education, employment, and opportunities that allow us to reach our full potential. However, with this freedom comes the obligation to respect the rights of others to do the same. We must recognize that freedom is not a zero-sum game. It thrives in an inclusive society where everyone's rights are valued and protected. Freedom is also intrinsically tied to equality. It means that no matter our race, religion, gender, or social status, we are all entitled to the same rights and opportunities. True freedom cannot exist in a society where some are systematically oppressed or discriminated against. Embracing freedom requires us to challenge and dismantle barriers that hinder progress and the well-being of any group. Lastly, freedom encompasses the responsibility to uphold the rule of law. It means living in a society where justice is blind, where rights of the individual are protected, and where institutions are accountable. True freedom flourishes in an environment of trust and fairness where everyone is equal before the law. In conclusion, freedom is not a self-serving concept. It goes beyond personal desires and encompasses the well-being of all individuals. It is a delicate balance of rights and responsibilities that requires active engagement and vigilance from each of us. True freedom is not guaranteed. It must be nurtured and protected and defended by an informed and conscientious society. Let us cherish the true essence of freedom, fostering an inclusive society where diverse voices are celebrated, where justice prevails, and where every individual has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment. Together, let us strive for a world where freedom thrives and where its true meaning is understood by all.
And there you go, guys. That's the best that I was able to do within my little tiny hillbilly mind and comprehension to explain what I truly believe freedom actually is. So, guys, I'm going to cut it off here tonight. Lisa, thank you for being here. And thank you to Uncle Artie for coming up, too, even though we didn't have him very long. I do appreciate y'all showing up. And guys out there in the chat, thank you so much for being here. Y'all know I love each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the ride. And for the moment, guys, Ironton Auditor out, and I'll catch you all in the next run. Everybody have a great Tuesday.